Hey guys, Jeff with Down to RV, bringing you another episode. This video, I'm gonna showcase Fiesta Key Resort. It's part of the Thousand Trails Encore package. This place is amazing. They don't allow tours of this campground. If you try to drive through, it's not allowed. So a lot of people are always asking, what's the campground look like and where are we gonna stay? Let me help sort that out for you. In this video, I'm gonna take you around, show you the campground, and I'm gonna give you some insider information because we've been working here for about 6 months now. There is a restaurant and bar on property, and I'm not gonna lie, you're gonna get tropical drinks. Let me take you around this place. Come along and check it out. So at this place, you're definitely not gonna go wrong with the beach view. Man, this beach is really nice. It's man-made, but spectacular views. Check this out. Did I mention that there's a restaurant and bar? Oh yeah, this place gets hopping Fridays and Saturdays, or during the holidays. Fantastic food here. One of the top rated restaurants in the area. And man, again, the views can't be beat. You gotta check this place out. Hot tubs for your relaxing pleasure. Oh man, these things are awesome too. Another cool feature of this campground is a pool that was built back in the day where they were allowed to build them nice and deep. This one is 8 feet deep. Get into some insider tips from a guy who's worked here for a little while now. I'm gonna give you some site tips. If you've never been here before and you're looking for the best spot for you and your family, here's some tips for you. So part of the insider tips I'll give you, amongst the hotels and motels, whatever they have here, along with the cottages, is this sweet secret right here, H21. Now they don't like to rent it out a lot unless the park is completely full because it's connected to the restaurant and the bar. And sometimes, I guess certain guests might complain that there's some noise that carries through the walls. But I'm telling you, if you want to be in the middle of the action, H21, that's the one you want. Because your door opens up right here. Right at all the amenities. You got the pool, the hot tub, the restaurant and bar, the marina is right behind the pool. That's a little insider tip for you. If you don't mind a little late night noise while they clean up in the kitchen or the DJ noise, and you want a little party action, that's the one to stay at. You can just stumble back to your room at the end of the night. Perfect choice for the party people. Another insider tip for you. If you're gonna pay retail and you wanna choose an elite site here, one of the hidden gems in this park is site 253. Now it just doesn't look right when there's no RV on it, because it just, you know, it looks like a rock pit. But what makes this site special, if you're gonna pay retail, especially if you're in a Class A RV, is the view, okay? When you park here, your view is straight onto the bay. All the other elite sites here, except for 2, are back in, which is fine for people with fifth wheels with rear living, but Class A's backing in, you don't get the view. 253, you get the view. All right, the next insider tip in the same area is site 355. Now, if you're a Thousand Trails member, you can get into site 355 if it's available and not occupied by a seasonal. It is directly behind 253. 253 is an elite site. You can't get that with a Thousand Trails membership. But 355 right here, you can get with a Thousand Trails membership if it's available. And again, Class A RV, and you're looking right out on the bay. I think I'm being a little partial to the Class A RVs right now because we drive a Class A and we love to have our windows open and have a really good view. In a back-end site, you don't get that here. All right, let's talk a little bit about the downsides. There are a couple downsides to this park. This is what they call the east side of the park because it's on the east side of the park. And you have the 200 row, the 300 row, and the 400 row. Now during heavy rain, or even somewhat light rain, the 300 row and the 200 row and the cottage row floods completely out. The streets are completely underwater. The sites stay dry, but the streets are completely flooded. And that can be an inconvenience. And I've actually noticed in the reviews, a lot of people talk about that, and that's a problem. There's no effective way to remove the water from this side of the park until they remodel it. So that's something to keep in mind. If you stay on the other side of the park, in the new section, in the 900s, 600s, 800s, the 500s even, that side of the park stays nice and dry when it rains. But the lower numbers, 2, 3, 400s, and the motel row, floods out during rain. Just a side effect of an older part of the campground that hasn't been raised up to the new modern sea level. We'll talk a little bit about the hotels. Motels, hotels, whatever term you want to use. This is H20. Now this is the closest to the amenities that you can get, besides H21, which I already showed you. You're right in the middle of the action here. You got the restaurant and bar, you got the pool and hot tubs, you got the bathhouse right here. This is a good selection if you want to be in the middle of it all. But a little insider tip for you, hotels 1, 2, 3, and 4 are the only ones in the park that have cable. Ooh, I said it. There was some damage to the cable system here after Hurricane Irma. When they rebuilt everything, something went wrong with the cable and they haven't been able to restore it. So accidentally, that hotel 1, 2, 3, and 4, they still have cable. A lot of people come here, they rent these hotel rooms, there's big TVs inside, but there's no cable. You have to hook up a Fire Stick or broadcast from your phone. It kind of can be a pain in the neck. Same thing for all the cottages, no cable. But your little insider tip, if you rent 1, 2, 3, or 4, you're gonna have cable. Shh, don't tell anyone. Next insider tip, site 454, gigantic site. Yes, you as a Thousand Trails member can get this site if it's available. Also located right in the middle of it all. You got the pool, the hot tubs, the restaurant and bar. Big, big site with privacy hedges. Really works out if you're a Thousand Trails member, but I got another site for you that's even better. All right, next insider tip, Thousand Trails members, make sure you pay attention to this one. Site 926. 926 is on the high 900 row. That's in the new section down the middle. This site is massive. It's available for anybody as long as it's open, but you get enough space here. You could have a football game, a soccer game. I mean, look at how nice this site looks. Now, right across the street from 926 is the low 900s. These are all pull-throughs. These are not going to be available to Thousand Trails members because they're considered an upgrade. But these pull-through sites here are very popular with seasonals and people that have larger rigs. You get tons of space in this row. So from like 912 to 925, 912 to 925, these are all pull-through, all massive sites. So if you want to do a little seasonal thing or maybe even an annual rental here, this is a great space for you because there's tons of room for you to set up tents, bring a small trailer. Remember, the rule here is 6 by 10. A 6 by 10 trailer is the maximum size. It's gonna be a single axle. Otherwise, you're gonna be paying for dry storage. Site 959. This site is a hidden gem. It doesn't look like anything special on the 900 row, but this site right here accommodates, I think, up to a 35-foot RV. This site, you get all this space, big open space, but you also get the privacy bushes, and you're right in the middle of the amenities. You have the pool, the hot tub, the restaurant, the bar, right here in the middle of it all, if that's your thing. If you want to be in the middle of it all, this is one of those spots that's really nice because once you put the RV in here, it gives you so much privacy with the bushes. One of my favorite spots. If you decide to stay here, just make sure your rig fits. So on property, they have a Marina store. This is like their general store. It sells a little bit of everything. They have groceries. They have the beer, wine, soda kind of thing. They sell bait. Certain times a year, they have live shrimp, frozen bait, camping equipment, whatever you need. You don't really need to leave the island. The store is very accommodating, open every day from 7 to 6. Sometimes they keep it open till 8 on Fridays and Saturdays. If you bring your boat here, they have fuel. It's actually reasonably priced too. Surprising, I've talked to quite a few people that come here and get fuel. Normally, we're one of the lowest priced fuels on the water, ethanol free, of course. You can fill your boat up right here. So yeah, the marina is getting remodeled any minute now. It's supposed to be all tore up. It's gonna go from 40 something slips to 76 slips. I'm not sure when that remodel is gonna happen. I'm filming this video here in September. They were supposed to have already started the project, but permitting's held them up. Perhaps they'll start it in the winter, but check the marina out now before it changes. All right, another tip for you. 178, 179, and 180. These are elite sites. These are massive sites. Okay, so you're not directly on the ocean side of the water or the bay side of the water, but you get the awesome marina view and you get massive campsites. These are probably 30 feet wide. If you're gonna do a seasonal or some kind of a longer term stay, this is an ideal spot for you, but you're gonna have to battle some of the local guys that take these spots every summer. That's another insider tip for you. Check the map, 178, 179, 180, beautiful sites. All right, so premium sites. We're in the 900 row now, but this is the low 900. Starts at 901, goes to 910. Borders right up against the playground. These are all pull-through sites. And these are considered premium sites. So Thousand Trails members, you're not gonna qualify for these, but these are nice. They're not super huge. They're on an angle, but decent if you wanna stay near the playground. Also right near the store and the marina. It's a good spot to stay. All right, for those of you that don't have an RV and you're coming to stay here and you saw the cottages and you're like, oh, those cottages are so cute. They are cute. They have the water view. They're right on the water. But the other secret here is the suites. The suites are not as expensive and they're way nicer. They're like full-on apartments inside. Washer and dryer, full kitchen, 1 and 2 bedrooms. I mean, these things are amazing. If you want to spend your money and you want to be on the property, I like these a lot better than the cottages. Unless you want that morning view of the water every day, which is understandable. If you come to the Keys, you want the water view. These don't have the awesome on the water view, but a much more comfortable stay. All right, let's talk a little bit about the 700 row. This is the 700 row here. I'm making this video when the campground is as empty as possible, so I'm not disturbing anybody. This is designed for your Jack and Jill type of situation. If you're going to spend some time here and you want to do a seasonal or something like that, and you want to have a friend come along, these sites are great because you're Jack and Jill's here, which is where your front door faces the neighbor's front door. Now, if you're not into the Jack and Jill thing, they do stagger the RVs front to back so that your front door, if the neighbor is not your personal friend or something like that, they will stack the RVs so that you're not walking straight out onto their front door. But these sites are huge. These are massive sites. I mean, they're probably 70 feet long. So if you want to just leave your rig in tow, the 700 row is for you. Not for the Thousand Trails members. Again, this is a premium site. They're not going to give it to you Thousand Trails Encore package. But if you are paying retail and you want to spend some time here with a friend, these sites are great. 700. Additionally, right behind that is the 800 row. As you can see there, there's a few seasonals still remaining here before the summer crowd changes out for the winter crowd. The 800 row, spacious sights, nice and square. The high 900s, like 934 to 959, those are all in the new section, and those are all angled. Now, some people really enjoy those sights. I find it a little difficult when the rigs are parking. The angle throws everybody off, and your slides can go out, and it can get a little difficult over there. 800, nice and square. If you like square sights, those are the ones you want to go into. They're not massive. I think the sights on the east side have more space because you get an old concrete slab, but those are decent if you like a nice square sight, and they're available to Thousand Trails members. Keep that in mind. 800 row, right next to the 700 row, which makes sense. Some of the numbering in this park doesn't make sense, so. All right, let's get into the elite section. This is the elite section. This is the majority of the elite sites here. It goes from the 179 that I spoke about a minute ago, all the way up to 195. And then you also have like 571 to 583. The 100s go over here, and then your 500s are over there. I don't know if you can tell because the sun is starting to set, but the water views here are amazing. These are all back-end sites. They're a little tight. Some of them are tighter than others. If you have a real big rig and you're looking for a lot of space, it's gonna be tight. But the view, I mean, look at the view. Show you a little drone clip of that. Talking about the 500s. So 500s to 583, the higher 500s, gonna be a little better. 583 is a little tricky. When the campground is full, 583, it's tough to back into, but you get a massive site and you're right up against Sunset Point. The sunset's right over there, as you can see in this video. It's probably blurring out, but we'll see. Sunset Point, sunset's right over there. We have that unique phenomenon here. If the conditions are right, when the sun sets, there's a green flash. Really nice. All right, let's talk about the best site. The best site, the number one, most popular site, my opinion, and most of the campers that are here. The number one site, if you want to pay retail, not available to Thousand Trails members, site 195. Site 195, you get all the benefits. The crazy ocean view. You're right on the water. There's a deep channel here, you can go fishing. You get Sunset Point right there. The site is massive. It's really the best site in this campground, in my opinion. If you're lucky enough to be able to reserve it, because right now it's empty, it's almost never empty. And there's a lot of seasonal people that rent that, so I would imagine even in the winter, it's probably next to impossible to get that site. But 195, the best site. You have no neighbors on one side, huge site. So if you're gunning for the best site in the park, 195, that's the one. 583 kind of challenges it as far as the best site, but getting a rig in and out of there, especially if it's a big rig, it can be tough when the park is full. So your even number 500s, it's the even number 500 row, all the way down to like 502. 502 all the way up to 524. Beautiful sites. These are also flex sites. So if you want, not for Thousand Trails members, but if you want, you can reserve this through the office where you can get the site in front and in back. So it makes it technically a pull through. I've never seen that in a campground where the site can change from a standard site to a pull through. So here, apparently during the winter season, some of these sites do change to full pull throughs. So you have a massive site, or you can just rent the basic site. Again, insider tip for the Thousand Trails people, if you're not gonna pay the elite prices, site 522, 524, right on the point over here, as close as you're gonna get to the water without paying that extreme retail price. And if the park is empty, there's your view. All right, here's another insider tip for you Thousand Trails members. Site 543. Okay, this thing is nestled in the corner amongst these mangroves here. I'll give you a little pan around so you can see where we're at. Just over there is site 195 and 583 that I spoke about. At 543, this hidden gem doesn't house a massive RV. It's on an angle, but you get your own private kayak launch straight to the water. And I'll tell you why that's important. The little private kayak launch here is so convenient. You can just put your RV, put your kayaks into the water. Everyone else in the campground has to use the kayak launch, which is where you have to bring your car over, drop your kayak off, walk a long path, launch your kayak, put your car back into a parking spot. Not on 543. You can park your stuff right here, launch your kayak, just keep your kayak on the seawall, you're good to go. Don't mess with the mangroves. Not allowed to tie off to the mangroves. Here's that kayak launch I was talking about. So if you have a kayak or other type of small watercraft you want to take out, canoe, whatever it is, you got to bring your car over here, drop your stuff off, walk down that long path and launch your kayak and stuff over there. Now they have installed racks over there so that you can store your kayak, but make sure you lock it up. The kids get a little crazy and they might borrow your stuff if you don't lock it up. Straight down there, that's the kayak launch. It's also a great place to just go straight into the water. It's the only place on this property that doesn't have a seawall. So you can walk straight out into the natural Keys water. One thing I want to remind people, it's the Florida Keys. There are no white sandy beaches like you'd find in Miami Beach. So in the Keys, you're going to find mostly grassy flats, a lot of mangroves, and the bottom is going to be either typically grassy or algae covered or coral covered. So don't expect the white sandy beaches from Miami Beach, okay? It's the Keys. We're on an island. So at this park, having worked here for a while now, out of all the campgrounds we've stayed at, this one is meticulously cleaned on a daily basis. On all the campgrounds we've stayed at through Thousand Trails or Encore, this is their flagship property. A lot of people really enjoy this campground because of the amount of effort that's put into keeping it clean. Another caveat, most people don't know. In the drone footage, little clip here, you'll see that, hey, it kind of looks like a rock island. They didn't put a lot of landscaping in. But the genius and the secret that most people don't know, since this is mostly a rock and gravel campground with minimal landscaping, I mean, aside from the mangroves and everything, no bugs. The no-see-ums in the Keys are notorious and they will tear you up. Anytime you have landscaping in the Keys, those no-see-ums live in the trees, in the bushes, in the darkness, and when the wind dies down, you're gonna get chewed alive. There's not a ton of landscaping here, but you can walk around at night. You can walk around in the morning. No bugs. Here's that new section. I call it the high 900s. It starts at 933, goes all the way down to 959. This is the newest section that they built into this park. They are huge sites. They fit up to a 45-foot RV, but because of the angle, it makes things a little awkward, especially with parking a car or if you have a second vehicle, it's not gonna work here. Better options for you are the east side of the park or the west side of the park, especially if you have two vehicles. All right, let's get into some fun information about this campground. One very unique thing about this campground is its location. We are directly next to Long Key State Park. So a lot of the water here is state park. And then just right out over there, about a mile and a half out, is National Park. It's the Everglades National Park water. So if you go far enough out there, you are technically in the National Park Reserve. Another thing you can see here, manatees on the regular. There's no fishing or swimming allowed in the marina, so all the fish are actually smart enough to know to hide in the marina. So if you walk around the marina here, little video clip from the drone here, if you walk around the marina, you're gonna see all kinds of wildlife. Tarpon, snapper, snook, manatees, they all come in there. Last week, the manatees came in a group and they had a little baby manatee. It was amazing. This campground is chock full of untouched Keys life. Another wonderful feature of this campground is you get to watch the sunrise and the sunset here. So over here, that's Lower Matacumbe Key. The sunrise is right over that. I'll share a time-lapse photo of that. And then on the other side of the park at Sunset Point, over there is the sunset with the green flash if you're lucky enough. So I hope I provided some of you some insight into this campground. Really enjoyed staying here, really enjoyed working here. And I hope I helped some of you find a really good spot to stay. Remember, if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. It really helps our channel. We are this close to being monetized, so I'm excited about that. It's another fantastic sunset here at Fiesta Key, and hope to see you guys soon. Till the next one, down to RV. God, I'm gonna have to do a lot of editing. Silly editing. I don't even know what to say. Blah, blah, blah. One other